For those of you who have just joined us after closed session, welcome to this regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. I'm Laura Simon, Board President, and I'd like to introduce my fellow trustees, Lisa Pelosi, Sean Mora, Jeannie Kerr, and Jean Marie Wolf. I would also like to introduce our district staff, Superintendent Dr. Jody McClay, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Christopher Heller, Chief Business Official Dr. Kay Vang, and Madison with Napa TV. Additional staff members are joining us in the audience. Director of Educational Services, Mrs. Araceli Roma Flores. Director of Facilities and Maintenance, Mr. Mike Flores. Do we see him? Okay. We have, sorry, I just have some people on here that are not joining us. St. Helena High School Principal, Mr. Ben Cinto, RLS Middle School Principal, Mr. Andrew Ryan, St. Helena Elementary School Principal, Mrs. Kathy O'Connor, and St. Helena Primary School Principal, Mrs. Rebecca Rocha. We are delighted that you're viewing in person on television channel 27 or on our YouTube channel. A copy of this board meeting video will also be available on our website at www.sthelena.unified.org. In connection with items 4A and 4B, the board received information and provided staff with direction. In connection with item 4C, we will go back into closed session after our open session this evening, which will be the superintendent's evaluation. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. 6A, public comment on open session items. Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on any items not on the meeting agenda? Okay. 7, presentations. Presentation of the District English Learner Advisory Committee, DLAC. And I would love to call on Ms. Roma Flores.
Good evening, President Simon, Board of Trustees, Dr. McClay. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you this evening our DLAC President, Tanya Cano, who's also the representative at the elementary school for their ELAC. And Saida Hernandez is the Vice President. She's on her way. She's running a little late. Let us know. She's the Vice President of DLAC and also the representative for the primary school. And we also have other ELAC representatives in the office, in the room, and DLAC as well. So I want to thank them for being here. But I'm going to turn it over to our powerful little leader here, Tanya Cano.
Hola, buenas tardes. Soy Tania Cano y quiero dedicar algunas palabras de agradecimiento principalmente.
Hi, I'm Tanya Cano, and I would like to share some words of appreciation this evening.
Y también quiero concretar algunos detalles que hemos hecho en este año escolar en nuestro grupo de DLAC.
And I'd also like to share some of the learning experiences that we've engaged into in the transformative training sessions of DLAC.
Este año ha sido un capítulo verdaderamente extraordinario para nuestro grupo de DLAC,
This year has been extraordinary for our DLAC group,
especialmente para nuestros dedicados representantes de padres de cada escuela.
especially for our ELAC representatives from each school.
Aprovecharon experiencias de aprendizaje invaluable y participaron en sesiones de capacitación transformadas a través de diversos talleres dirigidos por Araceli Romo y Selene Robledo.
They participated in transformative and engaging workshops that have allowed them to learn, led by myself and Ms. Robledo.
También recibieron invitaciones de distritos escolar como Napa y Sonoma, que compartieron información vital sobre becas y sus respectivos programas.
We also received invitations from Napa and Sonoma to learn more about scholarships for their programs.
Y también tuvimos oportunidades en conferencias ACABE. Además, participaron en sesiones de capacitaciones ofrecidas por el programa de CABE.
We also got to participate in the CABE conference and were able to attend training sessions offered by the CABE conference.
Todas estas fueron enfocadas en las necesidades específicas de cada distrito.
All of these were targeted on specific needs of different districts.
Quiero destacar el extraordinario compromiso de nuestros representantes de padres de ILAC en cada evento al que asistieron, incluyendo reuniones de asociación de padres como PTG, eventos de Give Big y su apoyo inquebrantable a las escuelas a través de actividades estudiantiles, acompañando a los estudiantes en excursiones y participando activamente en las campañas de recaudación a fondos de Give Big.
I wish to emphasize the remarkable commitment of our DLAC parent representatives at every event they attended, including Parent-Teacher Association, PTG meetings, Give Big events, and their steadfast support of the schools through student activities, accompanying students on field trips, and actively participating in Give Big fundraising campaigns.
Al reflexionar en este camino, comparto una colección de fotografías que capturaron los momentos que vivimos juntos con alegría y dedicación.
Reflecting on this journey, I'm sharing a collection of photographs that encapsulate the moments we experienced together with joy and dedication. I encourage our DLAC group to remain connected, to strive for even greater achievements each year, and to foster increased support for our children. I extend my sincere gratitude to those who devoted their time and energy. We have made a significant impact compared to previous years. We have succeeded in enhancing our logo and establishing a more confident and engaging identity as a committee. Thank you for revitalizing DLAC and for ensuring that our presence is felt in our district, and most importantly, by our future generations of children. I'd like to share some pictures with you.
Gracias.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank Tanya. Tanya, this is her second year serving as president of DLAC, and she's done a fabulous, fabulous job. And so we'd like to present her, first of all, flowers.
Oh, those are beautiful. Yeah. Are they from shop? I don't know. They're from shop?
So this is a recognition of her efforts. She's been, so just so you understand, she meets with me every month prior to our DLAC meetings to plan. She facilitates the DLAC meetings now, and just really proud of her leadership. So that's what the lead in us, so. Together.
So we could hear
Yeah.
the names.
Yeah. This is Elvia Olivera.
Thank you so much.
Ajá, sí.
Un regalito de parte de nosotros.
Thank you.
Vitalina Ortiz is our ELAC and DLAC representative from the high school. Sandra Sheffield, no la veo. Oh, pero Sandra Sheffield was our representative also from the high school.
Oh, okay.
But we have Hilda Lopez, who's the representative from the St. Helena Primary School. We do have Karina Figueroa here, who's the representative from the St. Helena Primary School. Maria, no está Maria, ¿verdad? We have Maria Alvarado, who's not here from the primary school, and also Laura Valencia Nunez from the primary school, who are not with us this evening. But we want to thank all of them. A special thanks to Tanya and to Saida.
Thank you very much.
Is there any public comment? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not. I just wanted to ask if there's any public comment on this agenda item.
¿Hay comentarios públicos? ¿Hay alguien que quiere comentar más? ¿No? ¿Oh, sí? Rita?
Great.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Vitalina Ortiz
Good evening. My name is Vitalina Ortiz.
y hoy quiero dar las gracias porque pude cumplir desde kinder hasta el doceavo grado, estar aquí presente representando ahora sí que a DILAC en muchas ocasiones, en diferentes posiciones, y me siento orgullosa porque cumplí mi meta, que mi hija se graduara y saliera de high school.
She would like to just voice appreciation for her ability to be on this committee since fifth grade, since her daughter was in fifth grade, and now her daughter just graduated from the high school.
Y les quiero agradecer a todos y cada uno de ustedes por haberme dado la oportunidad de estar aquí presente y también de poder viajar muchas veces a CABE, porque eso me dio mucha libertad de ahora poderme expresar y estar aquí.
She says she also would like to thank you for all the opportunities that you've provided. She's grateful for the opportunities to go to GABE because she feels like that really has built her capacity and her confidence to be able to present here.
Estoy muy agradecida y muy contenta y mi meta es estar aquí hasta que mi último hijo, que tiene 6 años y va a entrar a primero, salga de la escuela. Muchísimas gracias.
She's very grateful and expects to be here again because her youngest is a first grader.
Oh. Yeah, here for a while.
Gracias, Vita.
Trustees, do you have any questions or comments?
I had just a comment, is that I would also just like echo the gratitude and the thanks. And I do want to say is I've been attached to this school district for almost 25 years now. And I will say that it is very noticeable the presence of DLAC and ELAC and how it's grown. And that is something to be commended because it doesn't happen without parents and the work and the time. And it's very important. And I know it's gone through waves over the years, but I think we would all agree that the presence as well at the LCAP Community Forum was invaluable. And there was a great representation, and we thank you for that, and we look forward to more collaboration and hearing from you. Come on anytime to our meetings, please. So thank you for everything to everybody.
Thank you. I have a question for President Cano.
No te vayas, tiene preguntas.
Quick question. So what can we see next year with DLAC? It's any new or anything that you want to do differently or add to DLAC next year regarding having more people join DLAC or anything that you're trying to move along to share with the trustees?
I would like to answer in Spanish. That be okay for you?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Tenemos el propósito de traer un programa que se llama Inspire para nuestros padres que se puedan capacitar cada día más, porque muchos padres no tienen el conocimiento suficiente y eso sería muy, muy beneficioso para nosotros. Y tener un grupo más íntimo de poderlos...
Sorry. She said that she would very much like that the district being the program Inspire, which is a program to build parent capacity and advocacy, and we built that into the LCAP.
Okay.
So it is there as a result of their advocacy for that.
Okay.
Y también tenemos una meta de tener un grupo un poco más conformidable para los padres que se sientan con confianza que ellos puedan acercarse más a nosotros.
We also want to build other parents' capacity so that they feel confident in expressing their views or coming to meetings.
Do you feel that you have the tools to do that? Or do you need more support from the school sites or the district?
Considero que la herramienta más eficiente es la comunicación por teléfono, por textos, porque es más fácil para los padres acercarse a nosotros y poderlos traer a nuestras juntas.
She feels that it's advantageous to use a text to communicate. So Parent Square does have that feature, and so we feel that, or she feels that that texting to invite parents is more effective.
Pero también me gustaría mucho que nuestros eventos o nuestras actividades que hagamos para nuestros padres sean más fluidos en Parent Square que en las escuelas, porque es donde mayoría de padres puedan verlos.
But she would like to continue to see the advertised in Parent Square so that more parents can see them.
Okay.
Y que nuestro grupo sea un poco más conocido en reuniones o en las agendas de las escuelas, que nos tomen más en cuenta, sería más eficiente para nosotros también.
And she would like the school sites to take them into account when they're planning meetings or events.
Okay. President Cano, thank you for your dedication. Thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I'm saying,
Yes.
lo siento, no hablo muy bien en español, pero gracias. Es muy importante por los padres y sus estudiantes. Gracias para todo.
Thank you very much for your comments.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to all.
Happy summer to everybody.
Gracias por estar aquí todos.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're going to move on to student learning. So we'll move, and if anyone would like to be excused or enjoy their evening, they're welcome to. But we will move on to student learning. You're welcome to stay. We love.
Si gustan, vamos a continuar con la agenda.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, student learning, 8A, information on the local performance indicators. And I would like to call on Ms. Romo Flores.
Good evening. So this information was presented at the last board meeting. Ed Code calls that we have to present this at the same meeting that the LCAP is approved at, but we as a practice like to present this beforehand just so you have more time to process and to analyze it. But it is a requirement that it be presented again at the board meeting, the regular board meeting where the LCAP is adopted. So it's here again as an information item. Nothing has changed in that report.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item? Nothing else? Nothing new. Nothing new. Okay. 8B, consideration of approval of the 2026-27 Local Control Accountability Plan. Mrs. Romo Flores.
Yes, so for the LCAP that you have before you this evening, there are changes in this document. We did receive feedback from the Napa County Office of Education, and they wanted us to include some information like they wanted the STAR data in there. And I want to just call out that unfortunately, we weren't able to present this to our staff first, so it feels a little uncomfortable that we're presenting it without first sharing it with our principals, teachers. We just got it late. So I just want to acknowledge that. But we did make some changes to the LCAP. We revised some of the language after taking into consideration some of the feedback that we received from staff. And again, the LCAP was includes the STAR data. And they did want us to make sure that if we did not have current data in the very last column, that we still compared our most recent data that we did have to our baseline. So that's why you see that all of the columns to the right of the LCAP and the metric are completed now, even though they are completed in some cases with old data.
Okay. Is there anyone present who wishes to comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item? I had a quick question. Can you clarify what you added? What wasn't there? Was it the STAR results?
The STAR results.
That's
yes.
what, that was
the
the
STAR
second one
results,
thing?
and also in the original one, I put current. The difference would be determined once we got our most recent LCAP scores because
Yeah.
we don't have, CAS scores because we didn't have CAS scores in time for this report. We didn't have graduation. We didn't have a lot of those pieces of information.
Okay.
So I had put in that last column will be determined once the data comes in. And they didn't want that. They wanted a baseline. They wanted to see the difference from the data we did have and our baseline.
Okay.
So that's what I had to do.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Was that was
Napa
NCO,
County
Napa
Office of-
County?
yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Is that a challenge that we face here, right, consistently then? So it seems odd that they're asking for information that school districts won't even have yet. And I know that's a bigger question outside of your job duties, but it seems baffling that they would require something, but okay. Doesn't, okay, thank. I'll just process that in my own way.
It's inaccurate, but it's being reported.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the 2026-27 Local Control Accountability Plan as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thanks for all the work on
Yes,
that.
absolutely. Thank you.
8C, report on 2025-2026 St. Helena High School California Interscholastic Federation participation. I'd like to remind the board that this is a written report. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. 8D, report on the St. Helena High School cell phone and smartwatch policy 2025 through 2026 school year. This is also a written report, but we have Principal Cinto here if there are any questions. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Okay. Do the trustees have any questions? That's right, thank you. For this particular item, the board did receive 6 public comments regarding the policy, and I want to say that the trend that we saw in them would be requests for next steps in a more restrictive policy. So do we have any questions about this agenda item?
When is this policy is due to be reviewed and revised, like after 5 years? Is that correct? And it was a 2020 policy, is that?
And I think that that's what was mentioned in and I think it's July, is like 2026 is when we're renewing it. Or reviewing it, is what it says.
I believe the state is requiring that each local district has a policy by July of 2026. Mr. Cento may be better versed in this than I am. We do have a policy.
Sure.
I believe it was initiated originally in 2020, but he, again, is probably better to speak to that. With the pandemic and everything, I don't think it was actually implemented until later.
Okay,
Yeah, if you scroll to the bottom of that, it kind of tells you when our
Right.
policy was last reviewed. I think Dr. McClay we're a little overdue in terms of it being not as a site, but as an entire, that's what's in the law right there. So if you look through A through D. I did go ahead and reach out to the other high schools, and every high school in Napa County has the same policy we do. So any change I would assume would be part of that larger conversation with our community on the whole versus just an individual school site. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Cinto, or?
Mine is more specific than if this needs to be reviewed. Can you tell me what the process is from today on? So will we put this on a board discussion? Will it be open? Will we discuss, or does this go to the policy committee, or just what happens?
Okay. To renew it,
Well, and we're overdue.
since we're,
There were a lot of comments, people leaning different direction. How do we consider these opinions? How do we make a change if a change is requested overwhelmingly?
okay, thank you.
Well, I did notice on there that it does say that it's by stakeholders, kind of community members, teachers, students are all involved in that process. So that was my question as well, is how does that start? When does that start? And what does it look like? That's my questions. Yeah.
So if you're posing that question to me, I would say there's several options. I think typically the high school would be very, very involved. We would want to get staff input. We would want to get parent input. We could take it to a broader perspective with community and student input. If the board prefers, it could simply come back to the board policy committee for its typical update, but I would think that that committee would want input. Those are probably the two primary methodologies, and we may even want to merge the two. So I'm not sure, Mr. Cinto, if you've received feedback or if you'd like the two of us to work together, we can easily design something that generates input for the board policy committee or the full board to consider.
Would this warrant like a task force with teachers, parents, and students to give input to decide what direction we want to go in next, if we want to shift from the current policy to a more restrictive policy regarding recess and lunch and access?
It absolutely could. There's a lot of research, especially a lot of national attention around this topic right now. So I think a task force would be a phenomenal idea. In fact, it probably would land on a task force to determine how and when they get input from folks and who, what that looks like. Is it a survey? Is it meetings? Those kinds of things.
Okay.
So I'm happy to work with Mr. Cinto.
Thank you.
I think that would be, I would be in favor of that. And I think that for sure we involve our next student board rep as well in that, since that is our voice of the students that participates with us. I know in the past, when there was cell phone policy review, although it was just a few years ago, because we went into leadership classes and sat through and rotated with a group of kids, and they had done their homework. They had, done research around what was other schools were doing, including Sonoma. So, I'm sure that would come out of a task force as well. So I just think as many voices, because this is an issue where it will come with a lot of emotion, depending on what category you fall in on that. So I do think it benefits everybody to hear from as many people as possible. Whether it's a survey too that goes out, bilingual survey, that would need to be done as well. So.
Yeah. Okay. Any more comments?
So I'm new to the board policy committee, but 1C, we're already going to be overdue. Is there something you have to do to say, hey, we're missing our deadline? Because if a task force is going to take time, we're not going to have a board policy meeting in July of 2026.
I think we're fine.
Okay.
I see what you're reading, but we can double check with legal.
It just says requires, so
Yeah. I think the July 26 supersedes everything else. The intent behind this at the state level was to be sure that every district had something by July 26th. And I think the 5 years starts then, but I will confirm.
Okay. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
there's not some rush to do a meeting to say, okay, here's what we're going to do next. Okay.
Trustee Mora makes a good point about deadline and timing on this. What if the district chooses to, in the high school, in collaboration with you and Mr. Cinto, decide to do a task force? What would be a reasonable amount of time before a share at a district meeting about it? Would it be October? Would it be the September one?
Well,
I just don't want it to be a year from now and then we hear about it.
Right. I would just say that with all staff out until the middle of August, and students are out until the middle of August, and even our parent community probably isn't checking emails regularly, that we could convene quickly, but I want to be certain that we have time to do it well.
Okay.
So I would think.
So in the fall, just on our radar.
Would you say 8 weeks from the start of school, Mr. Cinto? Could we bring back something for you?
That would be great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move on to 8E, approval of novel for adoption at Robert Louis Stevenson Middle School. And I'd like to call on Ms. Ramos Flores.
Good evening. So at the May 15th board meeting, we brought to you the book Orbital that the science department at RLS would like to incorporate into their curriculum. And we did put out a parent square invitation to the community and to parents to invite them to review the novel. We did not receive, as far as I know, we didn't receive any written comments. I'm not sure if anybody actually even came to look at it. I didn't witness that, but there was no evidence of it. There was no documentation of reviews of the book. So with that, we would like to ask the board to approve the novel Orbital.
Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item? Is there a motion to approve the novel Orbital for adoption at RLS as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Okay, we are going to... I know how she feels. Okay, 9A, Superintendent's Report, Dr. McClay.
She's a frequent flyer at a lot of committee meetings, and she does a great job, I have to admit. She sits through a lot of meetings quite well, so you go, girl. Okay, so much to celebrate in the last couple of weeks. Wow. All 99 of our seniors at St. Helena High School graduated last Friday night, so that is just awesome. Thank you all for being there. And kudos to Mr. Cinto and his entire team. He and I ran into each other yesterday, and I said, in all of the years of my career, it is very unusual. I can count on one hand the number of times we get to the very last couple of days of school for seniors and we don't have a snafu, meaning somebody failed a final or forgot to turn in a term paper or something really, really critical when you've got grandparents flying in from out of state for the graduation ceremony and whatnot. And so kudos to the entire team at the high school for getting every one of those kids across the stage and into the next chapter of their lives. So that was exciting. Likewise, RLS promoting all of their 8th graders the night before. And then, of course, we had the elementary school and the primary school doing their fond farewell celebrations. So that was exciting. I also want to give a shout out to all of the staff and everyone who was able to come to our little soiree prior to the high school graduation. We tried something new this year. We called it Crayons to Caps and Gowns. And it was really a delight to see even our TK teachers coming out with photos of their students from 14 years ago, looking at the slideshow of where those kids were planning to go after graduation, and then marching out across the field to celebrate collectively as an entire district. So really, really exciting. Many think the district office and the school sites are completely dark over the summer and that everybody's on vacation. And if this past week is any indication, that is absolutely inaccurate. It is a super busy time here. We've been interviewing, and Mr. Heller's looking at me like, yes, we've been interviewing for vacant positions the last few days. Lots of facilities projects going on all around the district, all kinds of things with our facilities folks, and then many summer school programs. And I wanted to draw attention to those because there's been some confusion around summer school. And so just quickly, we are very, very grateful to the Boys and Girls partners, the Boys and Girls Club, who've partnered with us this year. They are hosting the K-6 summer school program at the clubhouse on the elementary school campus. This program is open to all students in those grade levels. The difference being is that there's funding and scholarships to students who meet certain criteria. So I do think there's been a little confusion with folks thinking that if their students don't meet that criteria, they can't enroll in summer school, and that is not accurate. So please, anybody out there interested in a really neat summer program, contact either us here at the district office. We'll help get your students registered, or the Boys and Girls Club. We also have a special education summer school program, and I want to shout out to all of our special education staff, certificated staff, classified staff, our paraprofessionals who are making sure that our students in that program, that's called the Extended School Year program, and we're also hosting that. We've got a 2-week 8th grade math boot camp coming up, and so parents are being notified of that within the last couple of days. That's to help students ensure that they are ready for math in the 9th grade. So that'll be toward the end of the summer, but lots of different opportunities for students and a very busy district office over the course of the summer. So thank you.
Dr. McClay, what was the 2-week math boot camp is for what grades?
That's for 8th grade math students, and we've invited quite a few students who meet certain criteria. So it basically means that our 8th and our 9th grade teachers are a little concerned that the students need a refresher. We're calling it a boot camp. I believe it's 8 days. I think it's 2 weeks of 4 days each toward the end of the summer with one of our exceptional math teachers, just to give them kind of a little boost before starting 9th grade math.
That's great. Great idea. It's a great idea. Thank you, Dr. McClay. Okay. 9B, Chief Business Officials Budget Update. Dr. Vang.
All right. Thank you, President Simon. For my update, I just have a couple items. I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. The first item are just more articles from the North Bay Business Journal. I've already included the written summary, so you can read that for yourself. But my bottom line here, as I think I've got my point across, is that wineries are the district's largest local secured taxpayers, and so we want to just continue to monitor what's going on around us, being that we are a community-funded district. The second thing I wanted to share with the board is that I did attend the Capital Advisors Budget Perspectives workshop a couple weeks ago, and bottom line, the Legislative Analyst's Office, or LAO, they have stated that ongoing expenditures outpace ongoing revenues. The governor's budget is balanced. However, that balanced budget does rely on a $20 billion in rainy day fund withdrawals, along with $4 billion in state fund loans. The governor's May revision also includes a super COLA of 4.31%. And I'm going to scroll down here so that you can see the categorical programs here. However, with the 4.31% super COLA, it does not apply to some of these categorical programs. And so on your left-hand side over here, these are the programs that will receive no COLA that our school district receives. So that includes expanded learning opportunities. Dr. McClay just spoke about our ELOP program, summer school program being run by Boys and Girls Club. We have Career Technical Ed Incentive Grant. We have the Strong Workforce program. These two grants are for the high school. On the right side, there are at least 3 programs on the right side that will continue to receive the 2.87% COLA versus the super COLA, and those programs include special education, child nutrition, and mandate block grants. So the ones highlighted in yellow are the ones that our district receives. And again, the one on the left, the programs on the left, no COLA. The programs on the right will receive the 2.87% COLA versus the super COLA. Additionally, with this super COLA, the trailer bill language also includes a 14-week paid pregnancy disability leave. However, it's one of those unfunded mandates where community school funded districts such as ours will not receive additional funding to implement this mandated program. So if passed, just like our TK program, as a community-funded school district, we will not receive additional funding, but we will be expected to implement the program. On the last thing I did want to share with the board, these are some of the projected deferred maintenance projects for next school year. It's not a comprehensive list. These are just some of the projected projects for next year. And as you know, as the school year starts and we go through the school year, things may come up that we did not necessarily anticipate, and then we have to address them. So they're thank you to the board. You've previously passed a board resolution, which allows me to transfer $800,000 from general fund to defer maintenance to ensure that we are addressing our deferred maintenance. So again, these are just some of the projects that we have planned for next year. I'm sure I will have a much longer list, and I will come back and reshare the list as it is revised and updated throughout next school year. And that concludes my update for the board. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Vang.
Can I
Any
ask you a
questions?
question? Yeah. If, Dr. Vang, on the list where it says TBD, is that in reference to be determined about a price, or to be determined if it will stay on the 26, 27 list?
Both.
Okay.
With the cameras, we will be, the IT department, Mike's department, and I will be reconvening to review all of the quotes and demos that we've received this year, and we will follow up with the district safety committee and share our findings and recommendations before any decisions are made, and we'll bring it back to the board with our recommendations should we decide as a district to proceed with this. For the roofing repairs, as you know, you did approve a roofing assessment that Beam has recently completed. So we just got the results back. We just met with Beam to review the results of that roofing assessment for both the high school and the middle school. So more to follow as we come back with the plan as to how to mitigate the issues that were brought to our attention as we prioritize what's, a high priority versus a low priority. But as you know, these things come with a cost. So that's something that my team and I will do on the back end and make sure we have a thorough presentation to bring back to the board. For the water heater replacement, we're also working with different potential contractors to hopefully secure grants. So if that happens, then great for us. If not, then we'll, again, as I update this list, I will continue to bring it back to the board. But we're working on a couple of grants with Clear Result, which is also another partner such as Eco Green that you're going to hear about later again. But we are hoping to capture some grants for next year to help us address some of these deferred maintenance.
One last question, just for my understanding, the lunch tables in the quad area at RLS, are those blue square ones that are in the middle of the campus? Is
Are
that
they blue?
correct? Okay, I just wanted, and those aren't very old, are they?
Oh,
They are? Okay.
They are pretty.
Okay, that's okay.
They do
I just
need to
remember
be
when
replaced.
we modernized that campus, those were added in there.
It was a long time
And
ago.
I know, so I know. I had a feeling that was just going to come crashing back on my, what I think happens 5 years ago is like 15 years. So, okay, that answers that. I will take it from my longstanding trustee partner that it was a long time ago.
Do you still call it the new gym at RLS?
No,
'Cause
I do not, so.
I do.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And Dr. Vang, just to clarify, the district-wide security cameras, that is based on the emergency committee meetings.
Yes, it will also
But we're
come back to
deciding
that.
then.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
And then, Dr. Vang, are several of these going to be in motion over the summer, like the roof, the baseball? Are things in process?
Not yet, because I don't have any current quotes or contracts to bring to you for approval. So these are just projected deferred maintenance projects for this coming school year. If there are contracts that are over 25, it needs your approval. So we're working on quotes this summer. But as you also know, this summer we have our current deferred maintenance projects to work on. So
Thank
We'll
you.
be back.
Okay.
We'll be back. Okay.
I'm sorry, I've got a quick
Yes,
question.
yes.
So my question is, my first question is the area by the primary school where the portables were. Would that any kind of change to that area, renovation or whatever the plan is would that be under deferred maintenance? That would be a deferred maintenance project.
Yes,
Okay,
it would
okay.
be. We've been communicating with Principal Rocha. We've had a couple of different plans that keeps morphing, and so we haven't finalized any plans yet. When we do, again, I'll come back to the board. But yes, that is also a conversation, an ongoing conversation that we've been having with Principal Rocha that we just need to finalize and solidify at some point.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're having the conversation.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Okay. We're all set? Okay. 9C, Superintendent Subcommittee Reports. And since our last meeting, we had our Monrovia meeting on June 11th, our Student Experience on May 21st, Board Policies on May 27th, and our LCAP Steering on May 20th. Why don't we begin with the LCAP Steering Committee on May 20th, and Trustee Mora and Trustee Wolf are in attendance for that committee meeting.
I mean, I guess I would say essentially what we just approved tonight in terms of the LCAP attachment on, what agenda item was that? 8B? That's what we covered. The additive piece was feedback for things to look at changing in the future. So you would see that type of feedback in I guess it would be our new LCAP for the next 3 years. So
Okay.
nothing to share out here. You'll see it in our next LCAP.
Got it.
Anything additive?
Okay, next on May 27th, we had board policies, which included Trustee Mora and myself. Would you like to share out?
Sure. We met, discussed one policy. We did not reach a conclusion on it, so we are meeting again, I guess, whenever our fall schedules come out. So there's nothing that would be coming yet to the board.
Yeah.
It needs to be fleshed out.
Correct.
Yep. Student Experience, May 21st, Trustee Kerr and Trustee Pelosi.
Well, actually, because of the timing of this committee, it did not occur. It was a challenge because of, I mean, just by looking at the date, it was really hard for staff to attend. I know that, Jean, you might have had one, but it was really small. Oh, you did? I thought you didn't make it. I apologize. I thought it didn't happen.
Touch and go all day for the exact reasons you said. We kept having people say, we're so sorry, we can't come, there's too much going on. And so we really were on the fence. We ended up doing it, and we had enough people. We made some
apologize.
progress. No, that's okay. You wouldn't have known
You
that.
gave me the get out of jail free card, I guess, that day.
I did. I
So,
extended it to
okay.
both of you because
Okay.
I didn't want you to be disappointed and come and not have anyone there.
Got it. Thank you.
And I'm sorry I didn't mention to you that I was there and that we had to, that was on me for sure. So let's see, we concluded the year, the student experiences, and as you all know, through the year, our main goal was to do the equity walks, focus groups, and empathy interviews. And we did several of those throughout the year. I think that probably the excitement of the last meeting of the year was the group was excited that we now know how we're going to disseminate the information that we got from those from the equity walks and the focus groups, and then now how to what am I trying to say? Report them out. So that's where we're at. Does that sound correct? Yeah. Okay. Great.
Are we allowed to know when? I'm so curious because we don't see anything until it's dispersed. I'm so curious.
I'm not sure myself, so
Okay.
Dr. McClay will.
It'll happen early in the year. We surveyed all of the committee members. They did an individual survey after having a lengthy discussion about it. And the overwhelming response is they want to bring all 4 of the instructional leadership teams together from all 4 of the schools. After a few individual conversations with principals, they want to bring all 4 of those teams together and present all of the results collectively, and that will most likely happen end of August.
like here presented, or, I'm sorry?
No, they will, the Student Experience Committee wants to first share it all with the leadership teams from each school.
Okay.
Once I have it in a nice, pretty format, right now it's still very raw, because we had 3 subcommittees doing all the work. Once we have it in a pretty format and they've shared it with the instructional leadership teams, then I will obviously share all of that with the board. I know, long awaited.
I always love the student comments so much, so that's why I'm so
There's some
curious.
really good stuff in there,
Okay,
yes.
thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
It's a fun committee this year.
Okay, and then we had Monrovia just this afternoon. So in attendance, we had Trent Iaconelli with Boys and Girls Club, and we had Mara Strickler with the St. Helena Library, and Supervisor Ann Cottrell with the county, and Marcella as our representative from Up Valley. And they each shared out things that are going on. Boys and Girls Club are seeing some freezes in some of the money that they expect from the government, and from the Calistoga as well, which puts them at a pretty decent deficit this year. So they're nervous about that. But on a good note, they had some incredibly generous community members come and pay for one girl who just graduated, pay for her entire college every single year, which almost brought me to tears. And then another very generous donor gave more money to the 3 winners of the Teen of the Year award. I believe the girl who won $6,000, and he made sure that the other 2 were all at the same reward price. So, again, I mean, incredibly generous. And something that stuck out to me with Mara at the library was that now teens will be able to use their school identification cards as library cards. So they don't have to go through the process of applying for a card, and they will be working with the schools in the district to make sure that the kids know that, and that's all set up that they can just take their cards over to the library and use them to check out whatever they need. And lots of good teen programs going, a lot of teen stuff going on at the library this summer. And then we went over the survey. 200 students from middle and high school took the survey. Monrovia was very appreciative that the principals and the students were able to come together and answer the questions that the students had put together about what they would like in their town after hours. Not what they would like at school more, but just what they want in their town, how their town, what they kind of envision for hangout. And they were saying that they would love to have places where they could hang out, where there could be games, where there could be music, food. Those were the big ones. They found that transportation was a little tricky to help them come to things that they would be hoped that the city could create for them. But they are definitely excited about the possibility of some more social activities in St. Helena for them. And then after that, what we were going to share next.
The tail end of the meeting, the committee was so impressed with all of the different activities that each organization within the committee has already scheduled for teens in the area, that the district offered if each of those groups would send me a very brief list or the flyers of things that they're doing between now and September 1st, specifically for teens, because that's been the focus this year for the Monrovia group, is that teenage span. They're all going to send the information on their summer programs. We're going to collate it into one flyer so that it's all in one place. And then we're going to ask the chamber to help us disseminate it. And then we will help disseminate it, obviously, to all of the students in our care as well.
Dr. McClay, could you share the survey with the rest of the trustees? Or did you already?
Yeah, that was great. That was really, I appreciated seeing that.
Okay.
And then where else could they advertise? I mean, does anybody read the Star other than me? I just kind of think about, like, if you don't get the flyer, if you're not checking.
There's the city.
Yeah, the city newsletter.
There, we could do it on Parent Square.
each of the organizations that are represented in the Monrovia group have agreed that they will help to publicize it. It's just what the committee decided was, rather than us each only advertising what we do, let's collate it all together so it's kind of a one-stop shop for parents and students. And so I think the idea is that every organization within will also help to get it out.
Yeah. It took a little while to get there, but I'm really pleased with the work we've done so far. Yeah, it's been a nice committee this year. Okay, we will move on to item 9D, St. Helena Teachers Association, and I would like to call on Mr. Farrell. Good evening, Mr. Farrell.
Good evening. Thank you for having me up here. I want to thank Mr. Lulsdorf, who asked me to come speak on his behalf this evening. Before I get started with anything, I would like to also congratulate all of the schools on their end of the year celebrations, the graduations, the celebrations. Also highlight all of our CSEA members and Mike Flores for a wonderful job of getting all of those facilities ready. I know how much communication he and I had, because I had all my football stuff out there, and then it's not out there, and then it's on there, and things like that. So there's a lot that goes into those things, and we really appreciate, as teachers, we really appreciate the work that they do. I also have been asked, like I said, to speak on Mark's behalf. Our teachers have had a very solid school year. We feel very good about the student success that we've had. Many of the reports that Mark was telling me, our teachers are very engaged in all of the different issues at the school, both good and bad. And I think for a lot of our teachers, it was a really good year, and there were some rough spots, but that happens in most every year. If you look back over the time, it really is just it's an opportunity to grow in all sorts of areas. I have been asked by our Teachers Association to help with negotiations. I do appreciate that opportunity, as I've been a part of it for many years. We've started, albeit a little late than I'm usually used to, but we're moving along. We've had about 4 or 5 meetings. I can say that with the help of the district team, Mr. Heller, Dr. Vang, and Principal Roca, we are moving along, and I think there's good discussion happening. I believe, sometimes the good discussion leads to exciting discussion, as Mr. Heller would probably agree. And we're excited about moving forward with that process here in the beginning part of the summer, and hopefully wrapping that up, quicker than what we saw last year. So, if I may say, it's been a good process. There's been lots of good discussion, and we're just continuing to get through it. So I appreciate all of the hard work that you've given your team, and we are doing the same thing. We get a lot of feedback from our members, and we're trying to represent them to the best of our ability. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here this evening. Have a lovely summer.
And I'd just like to say that it was really great to see so many of the teachers on the field at graduation. So please extend our thanks for everyone to be there, because that was just a really great thing. So I think Sean pushed them along, but no, thank you to all the teachers that were out there at commencement.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. 9E, California School Employees Association report to the board. I would like to call on the CSEA president. No one today. I'm sorry. Okay. Items 9F through I are the written reports from the site principals, and as always, we appreciate you compiling those for us and highlighting student achievement and parent participation. Thank you very much.
I don't, sorry, my computer's down, so I don't know the number, but I had wanted to thank Mr. Ryan for the parent survey that goes out to the school's site and gathering that feedback. I didn't get to fill that out this year, but hopefully I will see the results of that. It would be nice. And then I guess my question would be, are we doing that at all the school sites? Or, because I know sometimes they happen, but only one principal reports on it. So, and I don't know if there's a discussion on that.
We'll have a little discussion this coming school year about whether or not we get more feedback. I think you almost can't have too much, although I know some folks say that their emails and Parent Square notifications are saturated. So, we definitely want to find the appropriate spot. But I know that Mr. Ryan got some really good information. It's valuable to the staff. I know other schools in the district do similar things, but whether or not we kind of make it a little more consistent and maybe something in the fall, something in the spring, we can discuss.
I just know in the LCAP meetings, we struggle with how do you measure on parent engagement or get feedback, and it just seemed like a natural, it's a metric that is doable. You can do it year over year. It just, I think that's where my brain was coming from, is maybe there's also a metric in there to share so that we're consistent on LCAP.
No, we can absolutely discuss it. We'll discuss it with principals and first talk about what it is they're already doing and maybe how we can expand it.
Yeah, I didn't know if, my question was, I didn't know if it was already happening at the other sites, so we'll see. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll move on. Business operations, 10A, Proposition 28, Arts and Music in Schools Annual Report. I'd like to call on Dr. Vang.
All right, so this is our annual Prop 28 report that needs to be board approved and then posted on the website per the requirement. All the sites get an allocation for the year, and each fiscal year's allocation must be spent within a 3-year time frame. And so the site principals have worked closely with their staff to come up with a appropriate, allowable Prop 28 plan to implement at their site, whether it's during school or after school. And so the site administrators are in the room if you have specific questions for each of the sites. But overall, each school site is on schedule to spend their allocation. I've been working closely with them to track their allocation for each fiscal year to ensure that no funds are returned to the state. So we're on track, and that this is our annual report.
Okay. Is anyone participating who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
No, it's a clarification for my own understanding. So when we look at these, or what's attached to the agenda, or not really the attachment, but what's written in the information. So for example, when it says that high school has $64,561, that's to spend over 3 years. Okay.
They can spend in the fiscal year. If not, they have 3 years to spend it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
My question, this is back looking. I know we don't approve it, but is there a plan for next year that we can just be aware of? Because I know sometimes we're just for awareness.
Yeah, there is. I'll start with the primary school. Primary and elementary are mainly doing after-school programs with the VAPA teachers, and they also have some outside contracts. For RLS, that's the .2, that's the before-school orchestra session with Mr. Brandon Binder. And then for the high school, I believe Mr. Sento is continuing with his VAPA will that he has going on with the visual performing arts teachers going into the classroom. It's mainly, I believe, the SDC students, but there are some regular ed students who are participating as well.
Okay.
My question's on money, of course. So are you, with the rules that's around this proposition, are you able to say that you don't, so for example, you have after-school program at elementary school and you don't use all that money for the first year. Can you take the money, say it's $50,000 that's left over, and use it the following year for, say, a VAPA program at the high school the next, or does it have to be consistent to what you're doing
It doesn't have to be consistent, but each school site can only spend their allocation. They can't mix and match.
Okay, so you
And
can't mix it with the
yeah,
schools.
So,
Okay.
for example, if RLS, for example, they are every year right now on track to spend every single penny every year. If they are done spending their allocation, they're done. They can't then tap into the high school and say, oh, you've got some additional remaining funds. Let's use your funds.
So no
for the
flexibility
yeah,
with that
so
then?
Every
Yeah.
school site has their own allocation that's provided through the CDE. And so I do track every school site's allocation separately. However, there are times, for example, primary school and elementary school, they're sharing, for example, Mr. Binder and PE teacher, Miss Jessica, I forget her last name, sorry, Miss McCornack, and they're doing, some joint programs, but they're also divvying up the expenses so that it doesn't fall on just one school site, if that makes sense.
Right, okay, okay.
So if this was on the ballot and it was approved, do we see this coming up again in a few years?
Prop $28, according to what I've been hearing so far, unless the governor decides that these are no longer ongoing funds. This revenue for, as of right now, these are projected to be ongoing funds.
Good.
Even with a new governor? That remains to be seen.
That remains to
Okay.
be said. Are my most recent sources and everything I've heard is telling
Okay.
me that I'm projecting these to be ongoing.
Okay, okay.
That's good because we have, in the case of the RLS, we've built a whole program around
Right.
orchestra. So to be building programs that we hope to continue with a prop that's going to go away is a little scary, but that's great news that it's going to continue.
Now, whether or not we get the same amount, that is a different
Right.
story because our allocation does fluctuate from year to year depending on the state's budget because these are state funds. So they are ongoing. How much we'll get from year to year may vary.
Okay, so we take it year by year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me just, okay, is there a motion to approve Proposition 28, Arts and Music in School Annual Report as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay. I think we're going to take a comfort break for about 5 minutes, and then we will be back. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We're going to continue with 10B, Review and Consideration of Approval Resolution 25-34 regarding a declaration of intent to provide preschool scholarship funding. I'd like to call on Dr. Vang.
All right, so Resolution 2534 is for the Preschool for All Scholarship. We did meet with our Business Ops Committee to discuss whether or not the district should make a recommendation to the board to continue with this contribution. And we, the committee, did agree that a contribution for next school year to proceed with that. So it's a $30,000 contribution for next school year, and we've been contributing this amount since 2017-18. Every year, we'll continue to bring this discussion to the Business Ops Committee for discussion and a recommendation to bring to the board.
Okay.
President Simon, I'm going to recuse myself on this vote, just because
Okay.
I'm the treasurer of
Yes.
Preschool for All. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kerr.
Thank you.
Is there anyone present who wishes to comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item? No? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 25-34 as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 10C, approval of contracts over 25,000. I'd like to call on Dr. Vang.
All right, I believe I have a couple of contracts over 25. The first with King Consulting. This is a purchase order that we're asking for so that King Consulting can continue to assist the district with our state funding applications. We are projected to start seeing some of these cash flow come 2027, thanks to King. So we do want to continue this partnership and continue putting in our applications, getting in line so that when there is state funding, we are in line to get these fundings. I don't anticipate that we will expend all 200 hours. However, what I don't want to do is have, something come up throughout the year, another possibility to receive additional funding and not have enough hours to move forward with the application. So I was thinking if I came to you and asked for 200 hours, if I didn't spend it all, then it would just come back to our pot if, rather than having to come back to the board at a different time to ask for more funding. But again, I don't anticipate that we'll use all 200 hours. The next contract is for, it's a consulting contract this is for our E-rate consultant, Rich Tunheim. And as a public school district, we do qualify for E-rate, for the E-rate program. And so we've been using Rich's services for a while now, and we'd like to continue. And I do apologize because it should say not to exceed 3,000. And so you can see that the 3,000 is missing there. This is a contract not to exceed 3,000. So really this contract should have been with the under 25. Yeah. The overall project itself, the funding that we're anticipated to receive is almost 30,000. So I think in my mind, anyway, so it's really not a contract over 25. So I do apologize. The next one is for Clear Water Institute. This is for the high school. This is an annual contract that I do bring to the board. This is for their athletics program. And so both Principal Cento and our athletic director are in the room if there are specific questions for this one. The next two are the Up Valley. I believe they're both Up Valley. Okay, so the Up Valley Family Centers. This is not a renewal. This is the wellness coach grant that we received this year in 25-26. We did not expend all of the funds, so we are extending this MOU with Up Valley for next year. Currently, with this grant, we are able to employ. Up Valley they are employing 3 full-time staff members who serve as wellness coaches, and again, it's the grant that's paying for the 3 wellness coaches.
Okay.
The next one.
If we have questions, do you want us to wait or ask now?
And we're going to wait.
Okay, so we wait till.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second Up Valley family contract is it's a renewal for next year. Up Valley has been a partner with us, providing mental health support services for students through both individual and small group counseling. And so for next year, we like to renew their contract. You'll notice that the contract amount is less than it was compared to this year, and that's because there are less counseling hours due to the fact that Up Valley had provided us with 4 counselors this year. However, for next year, they're able to they're providing 3 counselors, and they have tried to shift the 4th counselor's hours to be split amongst the 3. And so, however, they weren't able to utilize all his hours, so that's why there are just a few less hours for next year's contract. And then we also have, there are actually 3. 3 Up Valley contracts, and this one, the third one, is really more of a facility use agreement. As you may be aware, Up Valley does come onto our campuses on site to provide these services. So we do provide them with rooms at all of our school sites, including the Wellness Center. So this is a facility use agreement with Up Valley. And then the next contract is an MOU with Middletown Unified School District. They do have some students who will be attending our SHOP program next year, our transition class, which is located at the elementary school. And so this will actually be revenue to our district in the amount of a little over $50,000 per student, and that does not include any specialized services. So again, with this contract, it's a contract to receive revenue from Middletown for our services that we'll be providing to them. And then the last contract is a contract to purchase new server hardware from Sterling. The current hardware that we have is outdated and we need to upgrade. So we'll be purchasing, if the board approves this, we'll be purchasing 4 new servers for each of the sites, plus a district-wide server that will be located at the NOC over at the maintenance yard area. And this will also allow us to move away from Broadcom VMware. If you recall, in April, you approved a contract for about $18,000 for us to renew with VMware, and VMware is not a company that works well with education organizations, and so school districts who are with them are all moving away from them. Calistoga, for example, they've already transitioned to a different server hardware, and so we would like to do the same thing for several reasons. Again, our current server is outdated. It needs to be updated. Also with the Microsoft Windows, the new one coming out, we won't really have a choice if we don't upgrade. Our system will not be able to support what is coming down the pike. So this will allow us to move forward and continue to virtually host at each of the sites.
Okay. Okay, is there anyone present who wishes to comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions?
I do. So the first Up Valley Family Center, the one that is the Wellness Coach grant, the link in there doesn't work, so I couldn't read it. Just if we could, for us at least, yeah, I get the same.
This one?
I just didn't know what I was, oh, you got it to work?
Yeah.
Huh? On a non-school computer? Wait. Either way, if you could get me the document.
Yes.
And then I was curious, I thought we only had one full-time person as part of this grant, the check-in, check-out, I don't know the name of the role, sorry. And then, certified wellness coach, one maybe. I don't know what the other 2 are doing, and the reason I'm asking is that if this is a 2-year grant, it makes me concerned about the continuity of what's being provided. So I don't know what the plan is in 2027, 2028. It concerns me.
And we are working closely with NCOE and with Up Valley, because we understand that Up Valley is also working on hopefully keeping the grants that they have, but as you know, there's just so many changes right now, so there's that challenge. NCOE is also looking to hopefully, if not continue this grant, then find other grants. So as things progress, I'll share out with the board, but for right now, this is a grant that it is it's 200, the original grant was like, I think, 221,550. And so because we didn't spend all of it this year, the remaining balance is carrying into next year. So it's not really a 2-year grant. It was just that we didn't, spend all of our funds
So
last
maybe
year.
if we could just see job descriptions or what they're doing with 3 full-time people because of the risk of if the money goes away, what's the gap, just for some awareness. Thank you. And then the second one for the therapy hours. Is this only the wellness center at the high school, or is this also for RLS?
This is all the school sites.
All school sites.
All school
Okay.
sites, yes.
Thank
It's a
you. But then
comprehensive
the
contract.
third MOU, it only references 2 schools, but that's because they have a dedicated room, whereas at RLS, they use a shared space and a primary school shared space?
Yes.
Okay, that was my clarification. I have one more on the Middletown. You mentioned that the student pricing, it doesn't include if the student needs a paraeducator one-on-one. So if the student does require it, would there be another MOU and they would pay more, or would that expense be on us?
Currently in this contract, if there is a one-on-one aid that is needed, it is the responsibility of Middletown to provide the one-on-one.
Thank you.
Okay.
And so with this one here, specifically Middletown, we're not providing transportation for the student to get here then, is that correct? Or how does the student get into us?
I believe we are. No, they transport.
Okay,
They
okay,
transport.
okay. Perfect. And then the King Consulting. So it sounds like the majority of the work, they're do many things, I'm sure, for us, but they're looking at the state school facility program funding right now. They're working on that, and I know that's probably pretty extensive. My question is, though, do they look at other grants opportunities as well? And just because I do get an email from Cal Schools News, and I always see all these grant opportunities, and I'm hoping that there is some grant that fits our school districts, and they're seeing it and applying for it.
When grants are applicable to our district, they will reach out to me and, share the information with me and then work with me if we decide to proceed with it. So for example, this past school year, there were the CTE pathways, but again, it was a 50-50 match, and so we had a conversation with them. We spoke with Principal Cento, and then decided that we weren't at a place where we had the funds to proceed with our match, with our 50% match, so we decided to put a pause on it for this year. But it's things like that where when new funds become available, they'll bring it to my attention.
I have 2 questions. One is to piggyback off of Trustee Mora and the amount of services that Valley provides. And when we get that like an annual wellness report, if that's where it's appropriate to include that information, it would be nice just to kind of get updated on, what if Dr. Vang, if it's as simple as a graph that says, primary school and how many people are there and what days, just so that we kind of know where these services are ending up. To your point, there are a lot of changes, and even from when we attended the grand opening of the Wellness Center to where we are now, there's undoubtedly changes. And I think we all feel this way, that since it's such an important topic to our students and families and community, I would just prefer to be updated and have current information, so if I'm asked out and about, that I can accurately answer. I know I can always refer people to the district, of course, but it is nice to kind of know what that is. And then second, on Sterling, because I'm the warranty girl. Do you know what the warranty is on those new servers?
I do. On the quote that we received from Sterling, on the second page for the 4 servers at each of the individual sites, it is a 1 year. The warranty includes a next day on-site at the campus repairs for 1 year for each of the servers. And then on the third page, the main server that's going to be over at the NOC, that server, the warranty is the next day fiscal repairs at the NOC at the maintenance yard for 3 years. So the reason why that's a 3-year versus the 1 year at the site is because this is the bigger equipment that's going to do most of the heavy lifting.
Thank you. And of course, now that you've read it, I see it right in the middle of my screen. So thank you very much.
I've gotten good at making sure that these warranties are on the quotes for you guys.
Thank you.
With the 1 year, then after 1 year, what happens? We have to purchase the warranty then after that, or what happens after 1 year?
It would have to, depending on what the repair entails, then that would determine how much we pay. But it's a 1-year warranty, and then after that, depending on what it is, we'll just pay for
It's
the
out of pocket.
It's like a service call.
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
And how long does a server usually last? What's the lifetime?
It's a great question. I don't know the answer, so I'll get back to you on
Okay,
that.
that's fine. And
That was
I'm
good.
sorry about that question too.
No, I was curious too,
popped up,
like,
yeah.
have we had those other one? I would imagine that they have a finite lifespan, given the way
Yes.
technology changes.
course.
But I was trying to see if I could find information just from years past, and I couldn't find it. So if you could come across it, maybe throw it in a Friday memo.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the contracts over $25,000 as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Okay. I apologize. I just lost where I was. Okay, we are moving on to 10D, review and consider approval of the 2026-27 original budget. Dr. Vang.
Okay, so 26-27 original budget. We had our public hearing last month. This is the presentation, hopefully board adoption. You've seen this chart before. This is the budget cycle. Starting July 1st is the start of the new fiscal year, and then each fiscal year ends June 30th, and this is a cycle that just repeats. Once the budget is approved, any changes will be made and then brought back to you for at the first interim report in December. Changes between first and second will be made as well. Second interim will come to you in March. Then I'll close the books and we repeat the cycle with the adoption, the public hearing, and then the adoption again in June. And as Mrs. Roma Flores had mentioned earlier, the budget and the LCAP are two documents that have to be presented together, and you've already approved the LCAP. These are key assumptions for the budget. There have been some changes made to the budget since you last saw it last month during the public hearing. So you not only see next year's budget, but also the 2 out years. So at the top, in the first row there, you see property taxes. Green is the current property taxes, unrestricted LCFF sources. On the bottom are the numbers that were presented to you at the May public hearing. And property taxes, I kept the 0% increase per Napa County's assessor recorder's recommendation. Enrollment remains the same, ADA remains the same, unduplicated pupil has a slight increase. Now that we have our certified CalPADS report, I'm using that report in this for the final budget. Supplemental dollars are slightly up. Lottery mandated block grants are, lottery's the same, mandated block grant is slightly up. The COLA, as I mentioned earlier, there's a super COLA of 4.31%. And then in the out years, the COLAs are all, the COLA is projected to slightly go up in 27, 26, and then slightly down in 28, 29. But again, please keep in mind that the super COLA does not apply to all programs, to all the funding sources that we receive. On this table, continuing with our key assumptions, you've seen this before, no major changes here, with the exception of the consumer price index, slightly up in all 3 years. Multi-year projection, again, this is my best guess based on the data that I've received. This is used to determine the income that we will earn next school year and the checks that we will be writing next year to pay our bills. Starting with revenues, first row there, you can see we are projected to receive over $49 million in revenues, and this is both in unrestricted and restricted funds. Expenses are projected to increase over the next 3 years here, and then you see a net increase an overall net increase of $496,622 for next school year, and then a net decrease in the 2 subsequent years, and I do apologize because that number should be in red for 27-28, and it is not, but it should be. It is a negative number, so there are we're projected to see a net decrease in the 2 subsequent years. Our unrestricted ending fund balance, these are the numbers that are projected, and we are meeting our 3% minimum requirement for economic uncertainty. When I include Fund 17 in our reserve, this amount that you see on the projected reserve, the 23% for next year, 21 for the following year, and then the third year out, a little over 16%, almost 17%. These are the projected reserve amounts. Per school SF Square, these are the statewide average ending balances from the 24-25 school year. If you look down to community-funded districts, unified school districts such as ours, the average in the 24-25 school year was about 24.33%. If I go back to the slide, the previous slide, you can see that we're slightly under in the first year, and then in the out years, our reserves are decreasing as well. Again, 3% is about 2 weeks worth of salaries, and 17% is about 2 months worth of salaries. SF Square has a strong recommendation that for community-funded districts such as ours, that we keep a higher reserve for many reasons, and I've listed some bullet points here that SF Square talks about, so I did want to include that as a reference for you. And again, I do want to commend the board for having a second reserve policy of 33% of excess property taxes. And just a reminder that, at every spring symposium, SF Square does remind us that when state funding is exceptionally tight, the state has been known to suggest reductions to community-funded districts, so that it has been an ongoing conversation. And we want to keep our eyes on this because it has not been realized yet, but there's no saying that when, times are tight, that the state may come after our funds. These are the general fund contributions to restricted programs, and restricted programs are like mini funds. They should be self-sustaining, however they aren't, because their expenditures, we either aren't receiving revenues, or the revenues are so little that we have to provide a contribution in order to meet our expenses. So these are the projected contributions, not only for next year, but for the 2 out years. And you'll see an increase in the contribution year after year. Again, special ed, earlier I had shared that the super COLA, the 4.31% super COLA does not apply to special ed. So special ed will continue to receive the 2.87% COLA. And then cash flow, our cash flow does show positive monthly cash balances, which is critical. Our beginning cash balance at the public, we shouldn't say public hearing anymore. It should now say adoption, so I do apologize. But we're projected at a little over 14 million, and then our projected cash is 15 million. Again, cash is king. Cash is actual cash money that we have in the bank to pay our day-to-day bills, invoices, keep the lights on, pay our staff, pay our bills. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Okay. Is there anyone present who wishes to comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
I have a quick question. For the special education, for 26, 27, so I'm assuming that the, this total includes the 2.87 COLA?
Yes.
On it, okay. And then is it, the increase, is that from the projected COLAs for those, the off years? Or
Yes.
is it just an additional 2.87 to make that, for the increase?
Whatever the COLA is for the out years, that's the COLA that's being applied to
Perfect.
27, 28, 28, 29.
Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. And I do see, and this is my last one, so I apologize, you guys, for yakking here. I do see our ending fund balance decreasing through time too, so that's a concern.
Yes.
I would say, yeah.
As we continue to tap into our general fund to address facilities and any other emergencies that come up, yes, there isn't another pot of money for me to tap into. So when these things come up, it's basically drawing down our reserves.
Reserves, yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the 2026-27 original budget as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 11A, public hearing, consideration of entering into an energy service design build contract for LED lighting retrofit project. Dr. Vang.
All right.
Good night. Bye.
So at last month's meeting, we had our guest here, and he provided some more information regarding our LED lighting project. And EcoGreen, as you heard last month, they've done a lot of work for the public sector, and this is a project that if approved tonight, there is no out-of-pocket cost for the district. It is paid through the on-bill financing program, and we heard last month that we all pay into this program when we pay our monthly utility bills. And so we are excited and hoping that the board will approve this so that we can tackle this project this summer and start the new year with all new LED lights, which is now a requirement for public schools.
Okay. The public hearing for the LED lighting retrofit project is now open at 7:45 p.m. Comments during this public hearing should be limited to the LED lighting retrofit project. It is our goal to hear from all who wish to be heard. We now invite members of the audience to address the Board of Trustees. Okay, we thank you very much. The public hearing is now closed at 7:47 p.m. Do the trustees have any questions about the LED lighting retrofit project?
I just I want a clarification, and I know you just did kind of utter those words, but when you look at that contract, Dr. Vang, it's always, there's a paragraph in there that says that the cost not to exceed 1.7. And so I get concerned, I get confused, because I know there's not any money that St. Helena Unified is putting towards this. But do you know the reasoning of why it's written in the contract that it sounds like we're going to be paying?
Right, so even though there's no upfront cost and the district isn't paying, the project itself, if we were to pay for this project out of pocket, it would cost about this amount. So I
Okay.
have to call that out in
Okay.
the board resolution. However, again, there will be no
Okay.
upfront cost.
Thank you.
Or
Makes me,
behind the
thank you.
scene costs. No upfront, no back end costs.
No, I
either.
understand. I just, when
Yeah.
you see it in writing like that, and it's just,
No, it's
Well,
important.
and with that said, then you also, when you see the financing supplement, a loan document, and I do see that it's no additional fees, charges, minimum loan amount $5,000, $250,000, 120-month loan. So where does this come into, why the loan, and what happens if we fail to, if something's going on in our district in 10 years, what happens?
So if you recall from last month, I did ask a clarifying question. As long as we do not close down any of our school sites, then the savings will pay for this project. It's the project at each of the school sites. So every month we're paying our PG&E bills. There's a savings that will automatically be used to pay for the loan. It's called a loan, but it's not truly a loan that we are paying for. It's being paid for out of our savings. The only time we could possibly default on is if we close a school within the next 10 years. If a school, after this project is complete, if we do close down school, then we'll have to pay for it up front. But unless we close down a school, the project will be paid for with the savings.
Right. Well, and I shouldn't feel anxious about that, but I do feel anxious about it, because 10 years is a long time, and we're seeing what's happening with our declining enrollment, and there's already chit-chat about stuff going on. So not through our district. I do want to say not in our district. We're not talking anything about that, but I know that out in the community there is chit-chat about it. So thank you for that information. Thank you.
Okay. And you mentioned this last time, and this is just a silly, unimportant question, but dimmers on all the lights, we'll have those as well. Those
We'll have
LEDs
dimmers.
can be
In
bright.
fact, they have brought us some samples. They've installed some samples for us to look at. So if this resolution is approved tonight, then they'll be able to start the project next week. But in preparation for it, they've brought us some samples. We've installed them at the high school office here so that we can start playing with it. And
Do they have the light timers on them to
no
conserve?
timers.
Okay.
Yes, no timers, and they're not motion sensor.
Okay.
They're just dimmers that you select, and you can, then it
Yeah.
becomes, they're there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, we're going to move on to 11B, consideration and possible approval of Resolution 25-21 regarding entering into an energy service design build contract pursuant to Government Code Sections 4217.10. Dr. Vang.
All right, resolution, if the board approves it, we start the project next week, and it will be a district-wide project at every school site, and we're anticipating savings by transitioning to LED lights.
Thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions?
Not a question, but Dr. Vang, because, I'm kind of a facilities nerd, but maybe will you and let me know when it might be a good time to visit a section of school when we have something done to see this in action?
You can actually walk over to the high school and see it.
Okay, in the
Right
in the
now.
office? Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, I don't have a question. My comment would be, you can see that I'm concerned, but I do want to say that I can see the benefits of this because it's going to be the whole requirement that we have to have LED lights, and I know that staff-wise, it's going to take a lot longer to be able to do that. It's going to take years rather than months, and I'm not. I don't know. I mean, I'm just like saying that out. That's the top of my head. So I mean, it certainly will help with that. So for me, I guess the benefits outweigh the anxiety that I feel about this 10-year loan and this kind of if something happens in 10 years, then we're stuck with the loan. And I just don't want our future boards to have to deal with it. I really don't. That's what I'm feeling kind of anxious about.
And I think that's why it's important that, I'm transparent and letting you know that as long as we don't close down the schools, our bills, the savings will pay for themselves. So we just have to be mindful of that it's a 10-year program that we're committing ourselves to. And thank you, Trustee Kerr, for bringing that up because Mike's team has been slowly addressing the LED requirements. And so as the lights go out and we need to replace them, we are replacing them with LED lights. However, the process has been slow because we don't have the funds to tackle the entire district all at once, nor do we have the manpower. And so we've been slowly tackling this. And with this program, we've done some research into, we've talked to some other districts, and we believe that this is our best course to help us meet the LED requirements and to speed up this project. If the board approves it tonight, this project will be completed by the time school starts. So every LED light in the district will be switched over.
Okay. Okay.
You like it?
Is there a motion to approve Resolution 25-21 regarding entering into an energy service design build contract pursuant to Government Code Sections 4217.10 as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 11.
This makes me kind of even more nervous.
11C, approval to award a professional services agreement to Motive Studio for the 2027 St. Helena High School Modernization Project. Dr. Vang.
All right, so on April 16th, the board was presented with the high school modernization concept budget for discussion. And as these contracts start trickling in, I will bring them to the board so that there's transparency. And again, most of these contracts will most likely be over $25,000. So they do need to come back to the board. You've approved the overall concept budget. However, these are the specific contracts for subcontractors, for architects, for the construction managers. All these contracts that pertain to this particular high school modernization project will start coming to you in preparation for the actual work that will be done in the summer of 2027. But as you know, with DSA, you can't wait till summer of 2027. So we need to actually start these, the applications, the paperwork right now in order to actually do the work next summer. So With this contract, this is a contract for architectural services. The contract is based on construction costs, so if the construction cost goes down, then we'll have to amend the contract, this particular contract accordingly. And so if that happens, then again, I'll bring it back to the board and let you know that the contract is being amended due to construction costs going down. So this is for an architectural contract. Thank you.
Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions about this agenda item?
I do. Dr. Vang, if you could help me understand this contract as it pertains to our list, the modernization list. So what I'm trying to ascertain is we sign this architectural agreement and it's for the services based on these 4 bullet points on the modernization list. Let's say, for example, for whatever reason, whether it's an act of God or money or whatever, and 2 of the 4 don't get done. How is the contract agreement implicated? I mean, yes, that means construction costs are going down, but it's different than just going down because we're not actually even engaging in the construction of the items. So I guess ultimately what I'm trying to look out for on the district's behalf is if 2 of the 4 or 1 of the 4 don't get done, how is that memorialized in an architectural contract agreement to say that district's not on the hook for a project that never came to fruition?
So first off, let me just reassure the board that there are weekly meetings that I have with the architect and our CM, our construction manager at Great Stone West. So every week, every Monday at 10 o'clock, we have meetings to ensure that projects are on schedule, projects are in compliance with DSA requirements, that we're all on the same page, moving in the same direction. So if something like that were to come up, it shouldn't be a surprise because through our weekly meetings, we're aware of it because both architect and CM are reporting out what's going on. Mike and I attend these weekly meetings. So that keeps us all on the same page so that, there should not be any surprises. Hopefully that answers your question in terms of things not going as planned because we are meeting constantly and we have a very close working relationship knowing that these projects are so critical and our architect knows that he wants to remain with the district. He's working really hard to ensure that the district is getting what they're paying for, and when we get our invoices, it is itemized for us. So I would just say that through these weekly meetings, we're addressing the problems as they come up and making sure that we're all on the same page so that projects aren't delayed or.
And I just don't want to see the monies outlined in the agreement only serve us for 3 of the 4 projects. In other words, the dollars are being extended for 3 to say, and then all of a sudden there's nothing, I don't want to say there's nothing left, but all of a sudden one of the 4, the 4 falls off the list and then gets added to the next round to a new contract. So I just want to express that concern and that will be something that I know you'll monitor and then I'll ask you about.
Yes, and my team is very aware that our board it likes to be in the know, and that if there are no surprises. So we are very well aware that if something comes up, we're taking it right back to the board so that right away, and there aren't any surprises. So that's part of our weekly meetings, ensuring that we have a plan and that you are well aware of the plans. If plans change, that right away.
My question was similar, but doesn't Motive Studio work where they get 10% of the construction costs? The reason I'm asking is the last page of the architect agreement, a document, has all of the time and materials, basically the hourly rates are empty.
Mm-hmm.
So I assumed that was because Motive Studio works at a 10% of the construction cost,
Yes,
correct? Okay.
Yes.
So I guess that could also be true that if we don't do the construction, they're not going to get the percent, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
We would have to amend their contract.
right.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
So just so logistically, how does the billing look like? How do the invoice? So will they just work on one project at a time and then you're invoiced, or?
No, so with DSA, that's, DSA, we're not doing a project at a time. We're submitting all of our projects up front because with DSA, it's a back and forth, right? So we'll submit our application, DSA will come back with comments, and then our team with the lead, with the architect team leading that, they'll have to respond, mitigate all the comments before we have to submit that back, because the idea here is that we address the comments as they're provided to us in a timely manner. It's a back and forth, and so it is a process, and it's a process that, as you heard from the construction team, was it the last time they were here, DSA's backed up. There are more projects than there are DSA reviewers, so it's taking us longer just to get push projects through. Yeah.
So it's not going to be one upfront fee of $384,000 then?
No, the invoicing is as each of these, as each phase is completed, we're invoiced, it's itemized, so we can see exactly what we're paying for.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions? No. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve to award a professional services agreement to Motive Studio for the 2027 St. Helena High School modernization project as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 12A, review of the superintendent's subcommittees. So let's take a look at this and discuss any potential changes that we may have for the 2026-27 school year. You can just share out if you,
We don't need to wait for comment.
no,
Okay.
but thank you.
President Simon, I would like to stay on the student experiences.
Okay.
If no one objects to that, I'd like to see that work come to fruition, and then I would, of course, welcome somebody else to sit on that, but I would like to do that if possible.
Okay.
I feel the same way with that.
Okay. Okay, so we will have Trustee Kerr and Trustee Pelosi on student experiences. Business operations. Would we like to maintain?
I would stay on it. I mean, there's always something I can learn, and I know Dr. Fang loves having me on the committee and asking her questions all the time.
All righty.
I would also stay. I just think continuity is very important, especially
Yeah.
through some of the work we're doing and budget. I think it's just good for the recall of what happened when, because the people that attend the meeting every time we meet varies wildly. So it's nice for a consistent voice that's not Kay to be able to speak up.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Okay, I will stay on Monrovia as president, and that only requires one board member.
And it sounds like we need a school calendar committee next year.
Yes, we do.
I'll do that.
Count her in.
I can do it
Oh,
also.
yeah, I mean,
Wasn't it two of
although
us?
you do have,
I thought it was two last time.
we
If
did
it's
have
one-
two, right, Mr. Heller?
I like to.
I was
that
on it
one.
as
Okay.
well.
Oh, yeah, you and I?
Because I attended also. Maybe I attended for you one time. Though.
Okay.
It would be nice to have someone that has kids in the district also, which would be fine for Trustee
Okay.
Wolf, even though it's grandkids.
So,
Well, I'm going to address an elephant in the room right now.
okay.
There are three of us that don't know if we will be in these positions come next year. Is it really, excuse me, should we be making this, should we stay where we are until we have our new board in place? I mean, I hope I'm sitting here, but
It's something to
Should-
think about, but I
should
think
we-
it's business as usual till November.
Okay. All right.
And then at that point in December, if there are new trustees, I think that you could Trustee Pelosi and Trustee Kerr could bring it back to a meeting, and if it has to be reconfigured at that time.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's.
That makes sense.
That's fine.
And I like the business as usual until December. That's, yeah.
Is that good with you, Trustee Wolf?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Okay.
And Trustee Moore, because if by doing the calendar, that would put you on 3, I would be happy to take policy if you would like, or,
I think we talked about Trustee Mora doing policy, just,
to keep it.
Well, we were trying to do it for president and vice president roles.
Oh, that's right.
As a
That's
kind
I
of
don't
a.
need to
That's
be on
right, yeah.
Yeah.
calendar committee. I'm totally fine if someone else does it. I
I'll
was
take
just saying-
calendar
I'm
again
going to
if
take
we have
calendar
it.
too.
Okay.
Okay, so school calendar will
So
be
now you have
Yeah.
3.
Trustee Wolf and
Trustee Pelosi.
Trustee Pelosi.
I think I can leave 2.
Now you'll have 3.
Okay, and LCAP. LCAP's,
Biz ops and.
Stay the course until.
okay, so we've got Trustee Mora and Trustee Wolf on LCAP.
Okay.
Are you good with that? That's 3.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so we have board policies will remain Simon and Mora. Business operations will remain Mora and Wolf. Monrovia, Simon. County representative, Trustee Kerr, would you like to continue with that?
Yeah.
Okay. LCAP will continue with Mora and Wolf. School calendar is now Wolf and Pelosi. And student experience is Pelosi and Kerr. Sound
That
right?
sounds great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Absolutely.
So with school calendar, though, I mean, I know it says not needed till 2027. So, Mr. Heller, when would that commence to discussion?
Get my microphone working tonight. We would start those conversations in the fall to approve in 2027. Usually we approve around January or February if all things go well. So it's a fall committee and approval in January because we want to get that information out to other league schools, you know, if they can plan their spring breaks and such
Right.
to align with our calendar. And we try to give it to other districts. We try to be the first to do it so other people could align to us, to be honest.
Okay. I thought so, but then it said not needed till 2027, so that confused me. That we need the committee before
Yeah, we need the committee.
2027. Okay.
It approves in 2027, yeah.
Okay, and this would be the most appropriate time because this is the annual review of the subcommittees.
I'm wondering if we should make it more known to people in our community and parents that we do want people. On the business committee, I think once or twice we've had someone that's not on staff or, you know, a parent. And, you know, I think for transparency, and I don't know how we do that. I mean, I know it's on our website, but is it something we want to push out through the Star, through social media, that people realize there are opportunities to take advantage of here?
Through the city newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that a little bit in cabinet, that while we value the input of so many folks who are dedicating their time to come to these committee meetings, it seems like we have a lot of the same people coming to multiple meetings, and there are so many other parents that we've talked about maybe putting a blanket invitation out to gauge interest or to see how many folks would be interested so that we can expand the reach.
Yeah.
And I also sometimes think that attending a parent group meeting where you have like that body of parent volunteers who could then put out the word to the campus through that network.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, all set. Okay, we're going to move on to 12B, discuss and confirm the Adopt a School program. Trustees, would you like to discuss this format and next year's assignments?
Yes, we could discuss that. Well, I think we probably just really have to narrow down what is it we want to do. I think we've all found that we go to school, we get great ideas, and then we come, and because it's something happening at the school, perhaps the principal shares about it, and there's a lot of, I think, crossover. So maybe we really need to determine what it is that we're taking out of it. That's my thought.
And, you know, with that being said, when Trustee Pelosi and I had our agenda review meeting with Dr. McClay, we talked about the desire in July, perhaps, to have a board workshop. We haven't had one in a while. So to review the governance handbook, perhaps review, discuss thoughts about how we go about the Adopt a School and how we share out during meetings. We just felt like it was an opportunity to just do a little housekeeping and have some discussion around that. So Dr. McClay is going to reach out to all of the board members and see when in July it could be possible for us to do a workshop to discuss the topics I just shared. Yeah.
Yeah,
anything you wanna
perfectly
add?
stated, yeah. I think, and
Yeah.
and also, perhaps one of the other things, just how we get assigned to school, I suggested we just simply bump. If I'm at the high school, I go down to the primary. Who's ever at the primary goes up to that. It's just that way everything gets covered. When a board president switches out, the just jumps into the role that was open that the other trustees served. So, but I do agree that it's time for us to just get together and just fine tune our governance and make sure we all understand protocols and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, perfect, great. So what we can do for now is, if everyone's okay, keep with current assignments. And then we can have,
Until what? I thought we were bumping.
okay, well, we can bump right now.
no, I think we can make that decision at our special meeting that we have as a governance. We can keep and because I do think part of this discussion is going to determine what this looks like going forward. What does a share out look like? Are we still is it gonna look like that? Is it gonna get moved in the meeting? Is it gonna get morphed into something? So I think that being a special meeting, we could vote on it at that time.
Does it have to be in a public forum that we change assignments?
Well, it would be
I guess what I meant-
meeting.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
a public
that-
meeting,
yeah,
duh.
the workshop will be.
It's just not here, or it could be.
Yeah, it would be a special
Maybe
meeting.
here, special board
Okay,
workshop.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
And I even
Perfect.
think beginning August, we don't really need to start whatever reporting is till September because there's just not enough
Yeah.
in August. There's still time.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to report on those lights in the high school office, so just watch out.
Oh, I know you will.
I got time. I'm still assigned.
Okay, we are going to move on to 12C, approval of Resolution 25-36, specifying the conduct of the election for governing board members to be held on November 3rd, 2026. Dr. McClay.
So this is required by law every time there is an upcoming election. The board is required to make two decisions. One, whether or not the district will fund candidate statements for any interested candidate. And two, what would happen in the event of an exact tie. Each local board has a decision, and they have to make it in advance of whether or not they would fund a runoff election if there was an exact tie, or if they would allow the county to make that determination via a lot. And as of right now, it looks like the lot would be determined, what I'm being told is most likely a roll of the dice or a die. So interestingly, though, we have board policy that says we will pay for candidate statements. So really the decision in front of you tonight in the resolution, there's a blank line where we will fill in whether or not our board wants to fund a runoff in the event of a tie, or that the winner would be determined by lot. So that's the question really in front of you tonight.
Okay. Okay, let me just ask for public comment first.
Sorry.
Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions?
I do. I'm confused. What do you mean fund your statement? We wrote something, what would you fund? I'm
So
a little
each-
confused.
Each candidate is allowed to write a statement, and the Registrar of Voters determines how many words or characters the statement can be, but there is a fee to pay. Each candidate
okay.
typically has to pay a fee to have that statement included in the voter pamphlet booklet that comes with each election. Our district, you have established prior board policy that says the district will fund those candidate statements.
Well, I think probably what happened last time is we didn't run. I mean, technically, our statements weren't featured in the book because there was that's why I didn't remember that part.
And that's quite common. If there are no challengers, that there wouldn't be a need for statements.
Got it.
So other thoughts about that, about if it's going to tie?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. I mean, it's literally rolling a die.
Well, it has varied over the years. In some cases, the county determines that it's going to be the pick of a card. There's a deck of cards, and each candidate who tied draws a card. Highest number wins. I've seen names put in a hat. They draw out the name. That's the winner. Evidently, I'm being told by legal counsel right now that the current approach is typically each candidate rolls a die. Keep in mind, though, that in order for that to happen, we are talking an exact tie down to the single number of voters that would vote for two candidates. So in most districts and in the history of this district, boards have selected the lot. And that's because a runoff election can be very costly because the district would have to fund it.
Okay.
Also, though, in these political times, there are a lot of folks who are saying they don't want to leave it to a lot. They think that it's most important to get it right by the constituents and fund the runoff. Hence, we are presenting both options to you.
Any idea of what a ballpark runoff election costs?
So typically, I don't know, Dr. Vang, if you have newer numbers. I've always been told that a runoff election is anywhere between $100,000 and $150,000. But keep in mind, my information is based on a much larger area with more voters. So I would like to believe it would not be as costly here, but we have not been able to get a quote.
Okay.
Would it
So
make more
I'm
sense
sorry.
to get more information on the cost and then bring this back?
So
August?
you can't bring it back in August, and I don't know that we can get an estimate on the cost because we have asked. I'm like I said, I'm always told it's between 100 and 150, but there's no variance for size of district. Maybe size doesn't matter in terms of the number of voters. I don't know, but the information has been pretty limited at this point.
And I will recall from even rather than when the board, okay, let me just try and get all this out in my brain correctly. Even when I first was applied for an open seat, the board at that time had opted for the interview process versus a special election because a special election was going to be at that point between like $35,000 and $42,000, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's on
and
my
I
mind,
do
too.
think that when we had that happen again, when I was on the board, that price alone was still about the same. It was between like then 40 and 45.
So it's probably very similar to that because that would be used in the case of an appointment. You would have to do a special election if you didn't do the interview process.
Right.
So a special election, whether or not it's an appointment or at the typical November date, is probably the same cost.
Yeah, and I would say for cost of inflation and whatnot, you probably could add $10,000 onto that.
50,000, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
to say that. So,
But the information we're getting is limited. In fact, I was told by the county registrar that we could do this in August, but I ran that past legal because of the dates to file papers for
Right.
candidacy, and legal was vehemently opposed and said you must do it in July.
Okay.
So I am following the advice of
Okay.
legal.
okay.
So just so I understand this, so there's 3 positions open. So this would be the case, 4 people ran, and 2 of those 4 were in a dead tie. So it would be between
Those two.
Those two.
the lead. Okay, and then is it a possibility to have like an appointment or have those 2?
No.
Not during an election.
election.
Only that's mid-cycle.
Wow.
So we want to hear something funny. The lot used to be a straw poll.
Yeah.
A straw poll,
What is that?
What's that?
like just the longest straw.
Shortest stick.
Oh, a straw poll.
A straw poll.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I guess since we're speaking about rolling the die, I mean, it seems the odds seem very improbable that we would have two candidates with the exact number of votes. I've probably, jinxed us, but I really do think whether it's this district or anywhere in this valley or even in the state, I mean, we don't hear about this happening very often. So,
you're so jinxed.
so I think I'd rather see anywhere between $40,000 and $50,000 get spent on something.
Our students.
I feel if two people are that passionate about and they've come and they've got those kind of votes, there are worse problems to have in a school district. So I'd rather see the money be spent on students, programs, things like that. That's my vote.
So to retain the lot. For a tie.
motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trustee Wolf?
Well, I agree. I don't think we need to spend that money, but it just seems so antiquated that
I know.
to pick, I
know. I agree.
But no, I don't
does.
think we need to spend the money. I wish we could have a way of interviewing or letting those two have some kind of,
A thoughtful
yeah.
approach to it rather than.
And does that happen, like, not election night, but once all the votes have come in?
It's all
pretty
determined by
immediate?
the law.
It's-
That
yeah.
Definitely, this is not a system that we in-house have developed. So it would be very quickly. It has to happen within a certain number of days, and then the swearing in the window is set. It's all established by code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what does the motion need to say?
You would make a motion that in the event of a tie, the St. Helena Unified School District is going to go with a lot,
Okay.
if that is your motion.
Does a motion need to come from somebody that's not up for?
Does not matter.
Because I can make the motion, but I don't
It's
know
a
if I'm
great
allowed
question,
to.
doesn't matter.
I can make the motion that if there is a tie, that we use a lot to pick the winner.
Well, it's kind of a twofold motion, isn't it? Because we're first approving the resolution and then
And adding the word lot
adding
in
the
the blank
word
line.
lot
Yes.
to that.
Here you go,
I would
right
like to
here.
make a motion to
Thank you.
approve the resolution and add in the word lot.
Okay.
Is there a second?
That's a lot.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda contains routine items judged as appropriate to be acted upon in one motion. Wait a minute.
You're good.
You're right, I am. I thought I was skipping ahead. I apologize. The consent agenda contains routine items judged as appropriate to be acted upon in one motion. If a board member requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda, the item will be considered under discussion action items. Is there anyone present who wishes to publicly comment on this agenda item? Do the trustees have any questions?
No questions, President Simon, but I am going to ask that you pull item L from the consent agenda.
Okay.
I have a family member on that personnel register, so I will step out of the room for that vote when you discuss L, but I can partake in the rest of the items.
You got it. Okay. Are there any other comments or questions from the trustees?
No.
Okay. Okay. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, but we will remove item L? I'm sorry. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item L as presented? There it is.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions about item
L? No.
No. Okay.
No.
So is there a motion to approve item me get the number right, 13L, approval of personal register 25-11 and 11A summer school.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? I will second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. 14A, future agenda items. We will meet on August 13th. We will review the governance calendar, governing board professional development at that time, since we had to pause that in June. And anything else anyone would like to add or
Yes,
share?
we'll also add the CSBA self-reflection survey results. Those came in too late to post on this agenda, but I do have them now, and so they will be added.
Thank you.
Can I, the governance calendar and the governing board professional development, can those be added into our special meeting that, since we're doing it all about professional development
That's a
really
good
for
idea.
us?
Yeah.
That, take those items off.
And can we do an update on what our enrollment is? Maybe that's not an agenda item, but maybe Jody, if you throw it in August as we get closer, report.
That'd be great.
And then maybe just a summer facilities update. Because one thing that I don't know if I heard, if our DSA contracts were actually approved, because I know we were in a holding pattern, I thought last time we met. So we didn't even know if they could start this summer or would finish. So they're still on hold. Okay. Anyway, you can give us a report
Yeah.
on what did and did not happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Oh, we did talk about possibly having a report on like our graduates, where everybody went, whether that's board again or I don't know what's wrong with my voice. Where our high school kids ended up, maybe by August.
I think I shared with you in a recent weekly update the senior rally slideshow that the high school put together, where there's a slide for each student showing where they're going. We can easily do that in a public setting if you would like, or we can send it again. Okay.
Okay. We'll move to adjournment.
Actually not, we have to go into closed session, President Simon.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so at this time, we'll move into closed session.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.